Hi, my name is Jacob Pfau, and I'm the owner of Primal Barbell, a strength gym in Chicago, Illinois. And if you're new to barbell training, one of the questions you might have is, can you build muscle and burn fat at the same time? And the answer to that question is yes. You can go on a journey where the end result is that you've added muscle and you've burned fat. Today, I'm going to explain how you can do that. So if your goal is to be lean, then we're going to divide your journey into two separate parts, because 80% of how you look is determined by what you eat. So if 80% of how you look is determined by what you eat, then the journey of burning fat needs to be attributed to your nutrition. So burn fat is one section of your journey. The other section of your journey is going to be build muscle. I think it's important to treat these two separately so that you can optimize each path for what the goal is. We build muscle in the gym. We burn fat outside the gym. So today I'm going to tell you how I would approach nutrition for fat loss. And for a beginner, I'm going to tell you how I would approach the gym for muscle gain. Let's start with fat loss first. So to optimize for fat loss, I'm going to divide nutrition into our three macronutrients, which are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And I'm going to rank them just like that. Protein, I'm going to rank number 1 most important. Fat, I'm going to rank number 2 most important. And carbohydrates, I'm going to rank last. So your number 1 goal for a fat loss plan is to fill up on protein. Every meal should contain protein, and protein should be at the center of that meal so that you can fill up on that and be satisfied. That is one of the most powerful aspects of a nutrition plan guided towards fat loss, is that you get full and satisfied on protein and you're good. You're good for a few hours. So the fat is going to do two things. It's also going to assist in getting you full. But secondly, it's going to be a source of energy for you. Since we're not going to be prioritizing carbohydrates, fat is a good source of fuel that can fuel your workouts and give you lasting energy through the day. And since it fills us up, it is a very useful macronutrient for our fat loss journey. Despite the fact that you're eating fat, that does not mean that you're going to get fat, and especially if we're choosing the right healthy fats. Now, where carbohydrates come in on the fat loss journey is we want to limit carbohydrates as much as possible. The only place in this whole journey, and since we're combining burning fat and building muscle, the only place that carbohydrates are useful is for replenishing energy stores in your muscle tissue. So carbohydrates replenish your glycogen stores, and this does one of two things. It either helps you recover from a tough workout, or it helps you fuel for an upcoming tough workout. That's the only place carbs are going to be useful. They're certainly not useful for sitting in a work meeting. They're certainly not useful for sitting at your desk for 4 hours. But where they are useful is when you're doing tough workouts to build muscle, they can be helpful for replenishing your energy so that you can perform at your highest level. You don't need carbs for energy throughout the day. There is no minimum required daily intake of carbohydrates. There are no essential sugars in our diet, but there are essential amino acids and there are essential fatty acids. So protein and fat we do have to get from our diet. Carbohydrates we do not have to get from our diet. So we want to be very mindful about how many carbohydrates we eat per day if we're on a fat loss journey. And because you're trying to build muscle at the same time, which is different than just living out in the mountains and living off the land, carbohydrates could have a small role in that process when the workouts get intense to help you fuel and energize and recover. That is it. That's the only place I would put them. So to be more specific, if you work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m., maybe having a carb at 4:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays would be a good place for it, since it's right around your workouts. Maybe waiting until after the workout and having a carb at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays might be a good idea. But waking up Sunday morning and having a pancake brunch, probably not the most useful place for carbs if you're on a fat loss journey. So be smart about carbohydrates, place them with purpose around your workouts, and that will go a long ways towards making you a more lean person. Now, on the build muscle side of things, if you're new to training and you're new to barbell, then one of the most important things you want to do is you want to find a beginner's program. Now there's many beginner's programs out there. For example, you may have heard of Starting Strength or 3x5. You may have heard of Strong Lifts or 5x5. And there's various other programs, a lot of programs that are designed around sets of 10 or sets of 12. But here's the thing, if you're brand new to training, then my recommendation is to use a 3x5 program. If you're looking to build muscle fast, you want to train frequently as you can. And the best way to do that is by choosing a program that has a minimal effective dose. Now, if 3x5 works and if 5x5 works, well, 3 is less than 5. It's a little bit more simple, it's a little bit less work, and we can turn around and repeat these workouts with 48 hours of rest. Now, 5x5, I have no doubt that it works. It's effective, it's still simple, but it's more volume than a 3x5. And if a 3x5 works and I can do it every other day, that's a powerful program to employ when I'm just starting out. The reason I would not choose a 5x5 if you're just starting out is because that volume is something I would want to keep in my back pocket for after the 3x5 has run its course. This type of beginner's program is only going to last about 2 or 3 months, and once you start to plateau on that program, switching to a 5x5 could be a very good idea as you shift into more of an intermediate lifter's role. So what I've seen over the last 13 years or so is that when I choose a beginner's program with a lower rep range, like 3 sets of 5, then the lifter will tend to progress for a lot longer period of time. Whereas with the sets of 10 or 12, which in theory seems like it would build more muscle, they're generally going to plateau a little bit sooner and have to change things up. So let's say you did choose the 3x5 program, and let's say that you were squatting 115 pounds on the first day. And let's say that you squatted 3 times a week, which means you want to add about 5 pounds a session or 15 pounds a week. Then you're going to add 60 pounds a month. By the end of the first month, you're at 175. By the end of the second month, you're at 235. And by the end of the third month, you're at 295. Now let's say you started with sets of 10 or 12. Maybe in the beginning you started at 95 pounds. Let's say you got to 155 after the first month. Let's say you got to 215 after the second month. And then let's say once you got to 225, your workout was really intense and you were starting to plateau. Your body is going to adapt to more volume because of the weight going up. But with something that's high reps, to add weight consistently every time starts to become a little bit much pretty fast. But with something so simple and minimal like a 3x5, you can train this for a long time and drastically change your body in a short amount of time, 2 to 3 months. Can you imagine 115 being challenging for you on day 1 and then dominating 295 a couple months later? Can you imagine the difference in the amount of muscle you have? Now, certainly whatever program you choose a program that you've researched, a program that you believe in, and a program that you will stick to. Whatever program you choose, make sure you track your weights, you write everything down, and make sure you're getting better from session to session, from workout to workout. Make sure that you can see objective, measurable improvement, because that guarantees that you're going to build muscle. If you're adding weight to the bar consistently and it's challenging, that guarantees you're going to build muscle. You have to build muscle if you continuously add weight over time. Now, if you found this video helpful, like it and subscribe for more helpful tips on nutrition and barbell training. And if you need the fast track towards building muscle and burning fat at the same time, visit my website where you can book a discovery call.